one day, but I know it won't work with you. But it's like that sense of like, well, actually, I'm a better teddy bear than the rest of you, you know. I quite like being Teddy, you know. I'm not saying, I'm being silly, really. I'm being a little bit silly. But these little moments, these seeds of the remedy, I'm not saying I am platinum or I am, but this is the seed at which you can make connections with people and they're understanding materia medica. The beauty is that then students they understand that they're equal to their patients. They're the same. They're just not in that place at that moment. Then you don't get this kind of like, yes, I see deeply she's suppressed such and such because she's got lots of purple on her aura and all that sort of stuff. You don't get that kind of rather allopathic notion about what you're doing to patients. It's like, there but for the grace of God go I, or something like that. You know, we look at, what have we got next?
Anacardium?
Let's go for that one, anacardium. You know, this was taught to me as a sort of devil on the shoulder and angel, all this stuff, you know. And great work done on it, lovely materia medica stuff around it, but again, it's getting it to the point where students go, I say to students, have you ever been in this place? Have you ever been stuck in that place where you know that what you're about to do is horribly wrong and you're fighting it? No, they haven't. It's marvellous, isn't it? What a lovely bunch of people you really are. Never one sinful thought, eh? You know. When taking it from that point and getting students to start saying, my goodness me, anacardium was me at one point, is me. The struggle, here's Kent, between a good and an evil will, persuaded by his evil will to do justice, to do acts of violence and injustice, but is withheld and restrained by a good will. Marvellous. I did this to a group, I was doing anacardium, and this student burst into tears, and which happens quite a lot in my class. And you know, it was like she suddenly realised that the battle was her mother. She was bulimic. And she suddenly realised when I was talking about it, that it was her mother's voice telling her, you know, that she shouldn't eat and she must look pretty, and then she would go and eat. You know what I mean? Compulsively eat because she felt disgusting. Suddenly it became clear to her, when I was just asking, looking at these sentences, burst into tears and suddenly really got anacardium. What does that mean? It doesn't just mean she learnt it, it means she goes and talks to patients in a place of compassion and understanding. And they can be words, but I mean them in the very best possible sense. Mercury. Oh, you get the point, don't you? I'm sure. You get the point. So that's my materia medica. This is the way I'm working with my materia, is to get that sense, get people having a sense that you are your patients. You are your patients. And your patients always know best. You are not trying to take your patients to any place that they don't want to go. That's my kind of homeopathy for me. That's the way I like to work. So I've got to leave some time for questions as well. So that's it for me. The best thing is Picasso. You know, Picasso said simplicity, clarity. He didn't actually. I'll come back to Picasso in a minute. He said it's about simplicity and clarity and communication, clear communication in sensible language about what we do. Explaining what the material. When I give a remedy to a patient, I tell them what the story of the remedy is. I tell them why I'm giving them Staphylococcus aureus. It's empowerment. I'm not into kind of some deep occultism of homeopathy. It doesn't. I don't like it. I don't. Largely because I think it ultimately ends up in allopathic thinking. You know. And the more I go on with this, the more kind of I enjoy my job. Believe it or not, I enjoy it. And my patients tell me simple things. I see materia medica, like that little dog story in the tube. It just comes along. I don't have to do very much. Why? Because I'm not going to do very much. All I'm going to do is suggest things to patients somehow about where they go. I'll give you one last example, my best story. You might have heard this before, but I don't care. I had to do a thing on the rubric, dwells on past disagreeable occurrences. And I'm sitting in the garden with my mum. And we look in the garden and she's a bit grumpy, my mum. Largely because she got frostbite up on the hills when she was conceiving, I think. But she won't talk about it. She won't talk about it. Actually, Jeremy, we look quite similar, don't we, you and I? Daddy! Absolutely. I love it. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. There's a thought, isn't it? And so anyway, we're sitting there, and she said, I said, the garden's looking nice, Mum, trying to cheer her up a bit, you know, as you do. Like, do you want? She said, yes, it would do. I said, well, no, it looks nice, the rose leaf. She said, it would do if it wasn't for the ground elder. And you know, ground elder's a kind of weed that... I said, oh, well, I can't see in it. It's fine, Mum. You know, King Cross now, Staphylococcus aureus coming up. It looks very nice. She said, the Romans introduced it, you know. Long pause. I wish they'd never come. Very lovely. So it's got nothing to do with teaching materia medica, really, has it? It's got everything to do with teaching materia medica, I think. Making it fun. Anyway. How am I doing?
If you don't mind, we'll do your questions in discussion time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
I don't mind.
Good, because we're kind of...
That's fine. Okay. Thank you.